Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome ANCA Western Region Board Member Lina Gavidia and ANCA Western Region Board Advisor Vahan Cardashian.
Good evening, everyone. Commitment is one of the most remarkable attributes of the Armenian spirit. As an advocate for the Armenian cause and for all who seek justice, Michael Mahdesian has built an inspiring legacy as a champion for human rights. His role in Tom Hayden's campaign for economic democracy, his post as Deputy Director of USAID, and his position in the CCC as a representative of the ANCA, Mike positively impacted the lives of people on a national and global level. A prominent leader in the Armenian American community in Los Angeles, Mahdesian helped to establish the ANCA as an effective political advocacy group for his people. For this and his decade of service, first as a member of the ANCA, as a gracious supporter and advisor to the ANCA and the ANCA Western Region, and the relentless energy and enthusiasm he brings to his efforts, the ANCA Western Region is thrilled to honor Michael Mahdesian with the 2023 prestigious Vahan Cardashian Award. And now I'd like to invite Congressman Brad Sherman to come up, please.
Hello, I'm Brad Sherman from America's best Main city, Sherman Oaks. And for 27 years, I've represented the West and South San Fernando Valley in the United States Congress. Recently, they added parts of the West Side to my district. With me is Talene Karoglian of our Constituent Service Office, and I want to put in a quick shout out to her work. Imagine a federal agency makes a mistake. Could happen. Could happen to you. You call Talene, she works very hard, she solves your problem, and then I, Brad Sherman, take the credit. It's an outstanding system. For 27 years, I've been a member of the Armenian Caucus. I am now the most senior Democrat on the Foreign Affairs Committee. And I'm here to say that a president and a government that is declared that the borders of European countries are inviolate and that we will not allow Putin to annex any territory from a neighbor by force, those words need to be heard in Baku as well. For decades, I've tried to push our government to recognize the Republic then of Nagorno-Karabakh, then of Artsakh. Three things Congress needs to do now. First, we have to demand that the people of Artsakh can reestablish their lives under international protection in their ancient homeland. Second, as we pass the big supplemental foreign war appropriations bill, we need to include humanitarian aid for the people of Artsakh, whether it's to build new lives in Armenia or to rebuild their old lives in Artsakh. And finally, we need to provide the Republic of Armenia with the defense material it needs to defend its borders. much better to deter aggression than to defeat aggression. If you go to a deter alliance, you need to do it now. It's an honor to be able to honor my good friend, Michael Mahdesian. You all know of his work with the ANCA. I certainly, and many of you know of his work with USAID, and that is why he is the proud recipient of the Vahan Cardashian Award for his decades of global humanitarianism. Mike, can you come on up? Award. I've also brought you a United States flag that flew over our Capitol in Washington, D.C. But hold on. Michael, the Armenian people are a people of faith, the first Christian nation. But even in this crowd, there's a doubting Thomas. Somebody's wondering how you can know that flag actually flew over America's capital. There are people here from the Valley who have seen me at Target. They sell flags there. Well, if you can't trust your local congressman, it's wise that I also brought you a certificate of authenticity to restore faith to the doubters and to assure you to stand back in the for 20 years, 25 years. They've gone quickly. Thank you, and congratulations on this award.
Thank you, Brad, for your friendship over the years and your unwavering support of the Armenian people. I am deeply honored to receive this and to be in such good company with the other awardees. I really want to thank the ANCA Western Region, and particularly Nora Hovsepian, for her years of leadership and lifetime of friendship for this. I'll get to you, Levon, in a little bit. I want you to know that many of my achievements would not have been possible without my involvement with the ANC, both the organization and the individuals involved. I am someone, according to my best man, Robert Durian, someone who was in the right place at the right time. It was 1982 and there were two big stories in California politics. The first was the election of George Deukmejian as governor of California with the support of the Armenian community. And the second was the election of longtime political activist Tom Hayden, and who was married to actress and activist Jane Fonda. I was Tom Hayden's policy director on the campaign. At the same time, in 1982, there was something that happened at the State Department which woke up the Armenian community. The State Department put out for public consumption a note that said they did not feel that what happened in 1915 amounted to a genocide. At the time, the ANC in the West here, led by a then young and still young visionary, Vahan Cardashian, felt strongly that Armenians needed a presence in Washington, D.C. that could reach the highest levels of the U.S. Congress to get the genocide recognized. Levon's vision was to go beyond retail politics and get access to congressional leadership. He set up a meeting with Congressman Tony Coelho, who was then chairman of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, DCCC, and asked me to come along. We met, and when Congressman Coelho saw that I worked on the Hayden campaign and was Armenian, checking two big boxes, I was offered a job at the DCCC in Washington. At the DCCC, I had access to key congressional leaders and set up meetings with the ANC board and Speaker Tip O'Neill, as well as other members of Congress in leadership positions, and a young senator named Joe Biden. I met my future wife, Natalie, in the DCCC. She was looking for typos in a speech that I was writing for Congressman Coelho, and she kept crossing out Armenian and writing in American, because she didn't know what an Armenian was. Within a few months, she was calling members of Congress to get them on the genocide recognition bill. Within a year, the House passed the genocide recognition in 1984, which was a major victory for the Armenian community. It couldn't have been done without the help of the ANCA, which was just set up in 1983, particularly the chairman, Vahan Cardashian, who mobilized Armenian communities throughout the country. And it's been like this through my career. For example, I ran the United Armenian Fund airlift in 1989 after the devastating earthquake there. But there wouldn't have been an airlift without longtime ANC board member Harut Susunian and his relationship with Kirk Kerkorian. Then there was Vahan, successor to Berge at the ANCA, who introduced me to a young 21-year-old congressional staffer named George Stephanopoulos. George and I helped each other on various issues and developed a good relationship. The next time I saw him was on the Clinton campaign in 1992. When Clinton got elected, George asked me if there was anything I wanted to do in the administration. I had mentioned running humanitarian programs, and his endorsement went a long way in me getting the appointment by President Clinton. Once in Washington, I developed a great relationship with the top Armenian lobbyists there, with the ANCA, Murat Topalian, and together we got a lot done for the Armenian community as well as the newly independent Republic of Armenia. The community had good access to people in rooms making decisions. It's been 30 years since the Clinton administration, and things have changed dramatically, not for the good. The ethnic cleansing and, let's call it genocide, of 120,000 Armenians in Artsakh, and the threats of Azerbaijan to take Armenian land have been gut-wrenching. We need to up our game and become, in part, the people in those rooms making decisions. Access isn't enough. Harut Susunian wrote an excellent column last month about how the American Jewish community overcame many obstacles by playing prominent roles in business, science, art, literature, film, theater, music, civil rights, and politics. They are prominent in American politics, and some are here tonight. They have some of the highest positions in the current administration. The Armenians need to do so as well. Young Armenians need to work on political campaigns and run for office. Make connections outside the Armenian community that will one day be helpful to the community. Whatever you do, master what you do well, and connect with people throughout American society. In doing so, you will widen the Armenian community into the mainstream of American life. In my life, connectivity with a wide variety of people has been essential to any success I have had. We cannot be insular, and we cannot be a one-issue community. Which brings me to my final thoughts. And some of you may not like this, but here I go. I know that many of you are disappointed in President Biden and his lack of a strong response to Azerbaijan's aggression in Artsakh and threats to Armenia. I'm disappointed as well. Biden started strong, being the first American president to officially recognize the genocide, but he played it too carefully when all the warning signs were going off in Artsakh. But let's be clear, the alternative in Donald Trump is much worse. His values are not the values of the ANC, and in his first term he did nothing to lift a finger for Armenians. On a larger scale, Trump's second term would be an existential threat to our democracy. The guardrails, the checks and balances he tried to take apart towards the end of his term would face constant attacks. So don't take this lightly. Think hard and deep in the coming year. There is too much at stake for all of us. Thank you.